Welcome back to another Dear Shandy Bachelor recap, listeners. Hello, Andy.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm doing good.
Ooh, look at that smile.
I'm basking in the sunshine of love we got from our Shandies.
Oh, yes. We asked for a little, what did we ask for? A little lift?
A little lift. We were
felt like
sagging.
we were sagging.
And they lifted us beyond where I needed to be lifted to.
We were
It was
so
extra
touched.
lifting.
Yes.
I'm in the sky. I'm
Yeah.
above the clouds. I'm in an area of the sky where there's no oxygen. I'm actually going to die.
We were so touched by the reviews so many of you left over on Apple Podcasts. Seriously, we read them to each other and just felt so loved. You know, sometimes this parasocial relationship, you know, it feels sometimes like we send this out to the world, and just to get those reviews it was so, I don't want to say validating, but it just felt like it's not all for nothing. You know what I mean?
No, and it feels like family.
Yeah.
Like the Shandies really, I mean, I know this sounds like BS.
I mean, it doesn't to me. Maybe it does to them, but it's really not.
I mean, this is better than most of my actual family.
You know, seriously, you guys mean the world to us. It was very sweet. Thank you for heeding our cries for a lift in our sagging times.
And I would be lying if I didn't say that a tear formed in my eyes.
Oh.
It was such a heavy outpouring.
Oh, so lovely.
We do appreciate you.
Thank you
There's no
so
lie.
much, Shandies. We have another little piece of housekeeping, which is kind of big news because, I mean, Dear Shandy's been in business for 3.5 years now. And not once have we ever hired someone. I mean, we've had Gabby, our producer, we call her our fairy godmother of our podcast since the very beginning, but we've never actually sent out I was going to say a casting call. I'm a singer. Wait, it's a casting call. What is it?
It's
We're hiring notice.
It's what do you call it when you put something on a board?
A bulletin?
It's a bulletin. We're sending out a bulletin.
Really?
Bulletin?
I don't know.
It's good enough.
Okay. So keep an eye over on our Instagram. That's at Dear Shandy, because we will be posting some details there for what we're looking for.
Yeah.
All right. Sound good? Shall we get going, Andy?
Let's do it.
Okay. So we open in Jasper, Alberta. My goodness. It's stunning.
I mean, wow.
Stunning. Andy, you were having such an envy that when the ladies were moving into their fancy lodge, you were like, Fairmont.
You think they accept Coach Shandy?
We wish. Joey and Jesse are seen playing tennis yet again. I love these scenes.
Yeah.
Like they're really just a sort of precursor to a chat between Joey and Jesse. But whenever I see it, I'm like, oh, they're having fun.
It's
they
so
like
cute.
each other.
Yeah. He's finally got someone to play with.
Doesn't it feel like that? It feels like a sort of brotherly friendship.
Absolutely.
The one-on-one date card arrives and it is for Daisy. And we see Jen get visibly down about this. And I've got to say, this season, one of the things that makes it so exciting is not only the fact that you can't read Joey at all. Like we have our ideas of who he's going to pick, but he's really hard to read. But the fact that the women are all super into him and it cannot be faked.
No, it's not faked.
No.
Everyone's into him.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't be into Joey? My mom's into Joey.
Is she?
All she talks about is Joey this, Joey that. I'm not
Really?
even kidding. Yeah.
You didn't tell me that.
Yeah. And she's not into Maria. And you know why she's not into Maria? Well, she's jealous.
Jealous of what they share, of their connection. So Daisy gets this one-on-one. They're riding horses. It turns out it's Joey's first time riding a horse.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty exciting.
I mean, it's most people's first time riding a horse.
Really?
Yeah. I think most people who ride a horse, it's their first time. Like 95% of people who ride horses, it's their first time.
I was too obsessed with horses when I was young to not ride a horse.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it's not like I was one of those girls who went riding. Like that I wasn't
You
one of
weren't
those
a
people.
riding girl?
No, I wasn't a riding girl. What does that mean?
It wasn't dirty. It was just,
It sounded dirty.
it wasn't, I swear.
Okay. But I did go to a horseback riding summer camp.
Oh.
A Christian horseback riding
really?
summer camp. Yeah.
Wow.
Where we had to pray before we got on a
God
horse.
and horses.
Yes.
That's a good combo.
Yeah.
If I was going to say God, like if it was a restaurant and you're like, what does this God pair with? Well, I would say horses.
I don't know why that's so funny. This date overall is beautifully shot and edited. It even included a nice song with them sort of riding their horses with the scenery.
It's nice. It's romantic.
I feel like this
Felt like the end of Planet of the Apes. Ever see Planet of the Apes?
Yeah.
They're riding horses. It feels nice. You're like, they finally made it out. Everything's going to be okay. And then he sees the head of the Statue of Liberty in the sand and realizes that he's in the far future and humans destroy the earth. And he's like, damn it.
Oh,
Damn
that's
you
such a great ending.
It's the best ending of any movie in history.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the best movie, but the best ending of any movie in history. I challenge anyone to give me a better ending.
Well, and let's be honest, ending anything from a skit to a movie to a song is one of the hardest parts. I feel that way when I watch SNL. I'm like, okay, this was funny, but the ending was so bad that it didn't leave me thinking it was so funny.
Right. Yeah. No. The ending, you're left wanting more with the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah. Sometimes when I hear a song fade out, I'm like, oh, I know what you did there. You didn't know how to end it, so you just fade it out. And I respect it. Sometimes that's what should be done.
Yeah. And you know what the director of Planet of the Apes thought? He's like, you know what? He was the first guy who was like, I'm thinking of the sequel, the third one, the fourth one, the fifth one, the sixth one. I'm going to make an ending that's going to force them to make billions of dollars on sequels.
Yeah.
Genius.
Yeah. Laughing all the way to the bank. With scenes like this, I feel like the show finally is leaning into the soothing nature of this franchise.
Yeah.
I do think that there's a comfort to the Bachelor franchise, a sort of familiarity of it.
I feel it.
Yeah, I even find oftentimes in episode 1, so night 1, I'm very critical of format and if there were fewer ladies and too many this, too many that. And some people sort of get upset at me because they're like, well, that's the show. That's the format of the show. And they're right. There is a soothing element to the Bachelor franchise where it's just I know what I'm going to get.
It's like visual ASMR.
Yeah.
I mean, it's put me to sleep many times.
Oh my God. Okay, 1 second. Checking my boobs. Joey in his ITM says Daisy made this date fun, made it special. She's something else. They now get in a hot tub where she says she's excited about the possibility of going home. And she jokes, I guess I'm going home either way. I thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
I love Daisy.
Yeah, she's great.
She's
not the only one who loves Daisy.
Yeah. In the hot tub, they talk about the type of love they want. And while usually this sort of conversation feels a little forced to me, I'm like, okay, actually talk about things. Would you really be talking about the kind of love you want if this were a normal date? However, I really believed it.
I believe it.
And their kisses.
Oh, yeah.
They're just so in harmony.
There's heat. You feel heat.
Yeah, and
you feel the temperature rising.
And there's puzzle pieces. It's I kiss like this and you kiss like this. It's like a yin-yang kiss. Yeah. And then afterwards, he hugs her and his face, he's like, that was the moment. Oh, yeah. That was the moment, Andy, that you may have brought me to your side.
Oh, I see.
That face he had on after kissing her.
Yeah.
It was joy. Yeah. Pure joy.
Welcome aboard.
In the evening now, the group date card arrives at the lodge and it is for Kelsey, T, Maria, Rachel, and Jen. Jen is very upset about this. Kelsey A will be getting the one-on-one. She tries not to smile, which I thought was sweet, in an effort to be respectful.
Yeah,
she was trying.
Sweet. Yeah, she was trying hard.
Yeah, not succeeding. She was like... Jen is so visibly upset that she actually gets up and leaves. And I want to talk a bit about this scene because Rachel says, okay, after Jen leaves.
Yeah.
And Maria's seen sort of rolling her eyes. And I was like, are they annoyed with Jen?
They're annoyed with Jen. This is not the first time.
Jen?
Yeah, they were annoyed when Jen went to the piano.
You think?
Yeah, they were annoyed when she went to the piano.
I thought that was sort of played up a bit.
No, I think they were annoyed.
I thought it was mock annoyance.
I don't know. I just tell it like it is.
Yeah.
That's what I saw. I saw annoyance.
I will say this episode, I felt like there was tension in the house, but I didn't know between whom. Whom?
I think there's tension because they all really like him, and it's just natural for there to be tension.
Yeah, and it is. This is week 7. Yeah. Week 7, I've said this before, you are going absolutely crazy. Even if you aren't at odds with people in the house, you're just sick of each other.
Yeah, and there's a lot of pent up sexual tension.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had blue balls. It's the blue ball mansion.
Heading into dinner now, Daisy in her ITM says that she's not in love with Joey yet. She's not going to tell him that just because she wants a rose. And she's a bit nervous here because she knows that can backfire, which it can sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
I felt a bit of that on my first one-on-one when I told Juan Pablo that, I wasn't 100% sure about the idea of stepping into the role as a stepmom.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that easily could have backfired.
That was a big deal. You were history making there. No one ever said that before. You did the thing that you're not supposed to do. You always told the truth on the show.
Well, and I love that about Daisy. She
Yeah.
is radically honest for this franchise. I love how she even said, like, there was almost a tone. It's like, I'm not going to tell him I love him just because, like, if I don't love him.
Yeah.
And you know that the question she's being asked is, do you love Joey? How do you feel about Joey? Do you think you'll tell Joey you love him? Like, and she's sort of like, no.
But it takes a lot of confidence also
It
to
does.
say that.
It does.
Confidence, not only inherent confidence, but also confidence that you're going to win.
Okay, so at dinner, they talk about the relationship. Joey asks if she can get to the point of a proposal, all that stuff. And Daisy says she really, really likes him. But is she there yet? No. She can see it. She can picture it. And if it's ever a worry in her mind, she'll let him know. She's very honest. And she talks a bit about her family here. It's very sweet. She talks about how they were there for her when she was her lowest and sickest. And she knows they will want to make sure that whoever she ends up with will be there for her in sickness and in health. Joey says that if it's the two of them, he can be that person. He gives her the rose. She cries with happiness here.
Yeah.
Then he tells, this is so funny. He tells her he has another surprise in Andy in between bites of popcorn. You were like, fireworks?
I mean, that's what it seemed like, right?
Were you looking forward to some
I
fireworks?
was actually kind of excited for fireworks.
No, they go skating.
And I was disappointed.
And the whole date closes with Daisy's ITM saying she thinks she's falling. And she goes, ugh, it's happening.
Yeah.
It was something very
honest.
Yeah, and there's something
Yeah.
very fourth wall about Daisy. The fact that she's like, it's happening. Like she's almost annoyed at herself or laughing at herself that the thing that's supposed to happen is happening.
Yeah,
she can
she's
feel
seen
it
the
happening.
show before.
Totally.
She knows what happens.
Yeah, I'm a huge Daisy fan.
Yeah.
Okay, so now it's the final group date of season 28.
It's the final group date.
You know, I wondered if you were going to do that.
I had to. I have no choice.
Yeah. Thank you for being who I thought you were.
You're welcome.
When I wrote it down in my notes, I wrote the final group date. And then when I was editing, I was like, should I just say the group date? Because it's obvious it's the final group date. And I was like, no, I'm going to leave the word final in there because I think Andy's going to break into song. And you did. Did you
I'm
feel so?
somewhat predictable.
They learn how to be Lumberjills from a Lumberjill champion. I thought this was actually cute. The gist here is Maria does not love being on a group date. I mean, this is classic post one-on-one fare. We saw this happen with Kelsey A last week after having had her one-on-one. And I mean, Maria, she's kind of not into this.
You know, this is what I think. I think Maria's the kind of girl who probably is used to getting what she wants with men, is my guess.
Okay.
And I think after that one-on-one, in her mind, she was not able to see the board.
Yeah.
She was just like, I just had this date. This was amazing.
Yeah.
I'm obviously his girlfriend now. And then she didn't think like, oh, I'm on The Bachelor.
Still, yes.
Yeah, she forgot that she was on the show. And so now she's like, what the hell is this Lumberjill bullshit? Like, this is my boyfriend.
Yeah.
She can't separate it.
Yeah, and it also, to me, maybe I'm reading into it too much, but I felt like there was some tension here as well. Like her saying, if I'm not going to be with Joey, I'd rather be by myself. That just seems
She's
like a
having
weird...
a temper tantrum.
Yeah, it seems like a weird thing to say if you're friends with the other three people on that date.
I think
it's about being a good sport. It felt kind of like you're right. She was having a temper tantrum.
She's letting her possessive emotions take over everything else.
Even her friendships.
That's what I'm saying. Everything. It's trumping everything. She's
Totally.
like, he's mine. Stay away.
The Lumberjill competition itself is cute. It requires a lot of elbow grease, actually. Like, this was hard looking. The big moment of tension here is Jen interrupting Joey's ITM to sort of steal a kiss.
Yeah.
And it's suggested that the other ladies can see it and that they're annoyed. But I gotta say, the moment Joey saw Jen approach, his face, and he was like, oh, hello, that's when I knew Jen was going home.
And I'll add to that. I think none of the women should have been upset because every time this happens, this late in the season, when one of the women does this move, they're gone. It's a sign of weakness.
Oh.
It's a sign that they're desperate. They're like, this is a Hail Mary.
Oh.
So when you see that happening, I mean, they may not know it in the moment, but when you see that happen, you're like, she's gone.
Once in a while, there has been someone who's done that who has made it really far or even won, like
Really?
a Courtney Robertson type.
Okay.
Yeah. However, I, for the most part, agree with you. And for me, just Joey's eyes, when it was Jen of all people, he's like, oh, hello. He was just like,
he's like, oh, I have to do this now?
yes.
Yeah.
It felt obligatory to me.
Woo-wee is what I have to say about that outfit.
Oh,
it's
Andy.
a woo-wee outfit.
Woo-wee?
Or a damn. It's one of those.
Oh, thank you, Andy.
And I mean, look, I'm a sucker for Skims. Let's be honest.
You are. You love it. Whenever I wear Skims, Andy doesn't even know I'm wearing Skims when I come downstairs and it's time to record and I'm wearing Skims. He's just like, oh, you look cute today.
No, but seriously, it is the perfect combination, the perfect marriage of sexy and comfort. I can see how comfortable it is.
It is
And I
comfortable.
certainly can see how sexy it is.
I mean, this fabric, can we talk about the stretch? I would stretch here, but then you guys might see things. But it's super, look at this. Look at this.
Oh my God, look at that.
Skims fabric.
Space age. Is this space age?
Yes.
This is space age.
Yes. Their fabrics are from another dimension, from the future. They know what they're doing. And also their bras.
Mm-hmm.
Their bras. I'm wearing one right now.
No, you're not.
What do you
You're
mean?
not wearing a bra.
Yes.
Are you serious?
I'm sorry.
There's a bra under there?
There's a bra.
No, let me see it.
I mean, Skims, they know what they're doing. It fits right. It's got the stretch. It's got the softness. It's got the wear. Like, I find I can wash it, hang it, and it's good as new. This is an issue with some clothes. I know you don't really know because you're always living in your white Vs. But let me tell you, sometimes you wash a fabric and then it comes out and it's never the same.
Does Skims make a white V?
Well, why don't you ask them, Andy?
Do you make a white V, Skims? Please say yes.
But seriously, I am officially a Skims bra convert. Like, it really feels sort of like bouncy. I don't know how to describe it. I'm talking about their Fits Everybody t-shirt bra, which I love. It's just so hard to find an underwire bra that feels like you're not wearing anything. That's a big peeve of mine.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to tell you something right now. In like 20 years, when I may need a bra, I'm using Skims. Looking forward to it.
So shop Skims bras at skims.com. Now available in 62 sizes, 30A through 46H.
Plus, get free shipping on orders over $75.
And if you haven't yet, be sure to let them know we sent you. After you place your order, select podcast in the survey and Dear Shandy in the drop-down menu that follows.
1, 2, 3 o'clock, Zoc, Doc. 4, 5, 7, 8, Zoc, Doc. 9, 10, 11, 12, Zoc, Doc. We're going to Zoc, Doc, around the clock. We're going to Zoc, Doc now. We're going to Zoc, Doc tomorrow. We're going to falls apart, I guess.
We get it. Because let's be honest, your health needs supervision around the clock. It's easy to drop the ball. It's all too easy, especially as you get older. I mean, this is something I've been sort of facing with myself, is the fact that I can't just assume that everything's okay. I need to have regular appointments. I have to upkeep myself.
But it's not just about the upkeep. It's about getting to the upkeep.
Yes, making the upkeep happen in as seamless and unobtrusive a way possible. We had both been using ZocDoc for quite a while before they became a sponsor. They were such a no-brainer for us to say yes to because we were like, oh yeah, we both already use this. So in case anyone's been living under a rock, ZocDoc is a platform. It's all in one where you can not only search for and find doctors in your area who are maybe specialists for something you need in particular. Maybe you need a family doctor. You can filter all that. You can also filter by location, by whether or not they take your insurance, which is massive.
Big.
Also patient reviews, another big one.
And I think I may have mentioned this on a previous podcast, but I got my colonoscopy from a 4.95 rated doctor,
really
and I'm telling you, it was delectable.
So on top of all that, all those goodies, you can also book the appointment within ZocDoc. You do not need to pick up the phone and make that phone call.
I compare it to something else. There's another thing, a service, several services that allow you to order food online.
Yes.
And in the old days, you would have to have all those paper menus lying around.
Oh, yeah.
And you would pick up the phone, you'd call, sometimes it'd be busy, sometimes they'd never pick up, sometimes it'd be too noisy, they couldn't hear you, they get your order wrong.
Yeah. Oh, and
Then
you have to read your credit card number.
Read your credit card. But anyway, we're past those days now,
We are.
most of us. And this is the same idea, except it's so much more important. And it was so much more difficult than ordering food from a paper menu with the phone.
Yes. So ZocDoc is the free app and website that lets you search and compare highly rated in-network doctors near you and instantly book appointments with them online.
Go to ZocDoc.com/Shandy and download the ZocDoc app for free.
Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/Shandy, ZocDoc.com/Shandy. Okay, so now it's the evening. Jen has one-on-one time first. She says it was tough not getting a one-on-one. And I was really curious to see how Joey would handle this, but he just sort of sidestepped it and was like,
He's
well, I'm here now.
He's like, yeah, it is tough, isn't it?
She says her family's complicated. The mix of American and Vietnamese cultures. There are parts of her that her mother will never truly understand. And I thought this was so well articulated, and it's so true.
Yeah.
I sometimes feel that way about my own mother.
Yeah.
When you're born and raised here and you have the language and everything, there's just parts of her I'll never understand and parts of me that she'll never understand, you know?
Yeah.
I was just so amazed at how she articulated this. I don't know if I've ever even put it into thought that way before.
I learned something on The Bachelor.
They make out, and Andy, you said, I think I would get sick of kissing.
Oh my God. It's like eating pizza 3 times a day.
Oh,
Yeah.
too much of a good thing.
Yeah.
Kelsey T now, she says her heart feels full when she's with him. They make out. And now Rachel, her one-on-one time is mostly a montage of Maria spiraling because she sees him as hers. Rachel says her family would adore him. She shows him a photo of her parents when they first fell in love. I got to say though, Rachel, I do not see this going much further than this. I know that she does get a hometown, but to me, the fact that her final one-on-one time with Joey, remember, there isn't one-on-one time going into the rose ceremony. This is it.
No.
This is all we see of the two of them before a hometown. Like, come on.
No, it's not. This is not a thing.
It's like a throwaway. They're like, okay, well, this is really about Maria, but we have to throw Rachel in there. That's how it
Yes.
felt. Okay, so now Maria. She tells Joey that at first she wanted him to experience every girl there so that it would mean more when he ended up with her, but he has connections with the other women. And he interrupts her here to say, I have a connection with you too. You always discredit what we have. I thought this was interesting because it's the first time we've heard something like this. You know, from Maria's perspective, we just get the ITMs. It's interesting to hear him say, like, it felt like they were familiar with each other.
Yes.
Like he was annoyed at her for not seeing herself as the front runner that she evidently is.
Yeah, it's like people who live together, they just started living together and they have like a little bickering.
Yes. He was like, well, you always do this.
Yeah.
It showed such familiarity.
You know what she was trying to do? She was trying, and this was a little manipulative on her part. She was trying to get him to fight for her.
Yes.
She wanted to see it.
I think it's pretty obvious what she was doing
Yeah.
here. You know, she was acting out. I think that Maria is, as you said, used to getting her way. And, you know, even just from the preview for next week, we saw that she's a daddy's girl, right? It almost feels like the way this conversation goes, she's retreating and he's upset. But he also can't fully fight for her in that way. Like he does try to change her mind. Like he seems upset about it. He doesn't just roll over the way he did with Lexi.
No.
With Lexi, he didn't try to change her mind.
No, he clearly, his reaction to this would have been, let me walk you to the limo if he really didn't care.
100%.
This is an easy, like, oh, you feel, okay, let's walk to the limo.
Easier rose ceremony.
He's excited. His heart's racing. He's so excited. He's like, oh, I get to walk you to the limo. I don't even have to break up with you. Sweet.
Yeah.
But he was like, what the hell?
Yes.
What are you doing? You know that I like you.
Yeah.
It actually, this scene made me feel like Maria might be more of a front runner than I even think.
Yes, same. He was upset. This was the most emotion we've seen out of Joey. And I'm going to say something kind of crazy because it's been years since I felt this way. The way he handled this conversation, and of course the conversation after she returns and decides she wants to stay, it, for the first time in years, I had a tiny itty bitty crush on a Bachelor.
Ooh.
It was so well handled on his part, his frustration, and then even his gentle, like his acceptance of who she is, combined with a gentle disciplining, you know, which she really responded to. Can I just say,
Yeah.
you know, so it seems like she's going to leave. She gets up abruptly and leaves and then comes back. Oh, what's so interesting in this moment is how each of them individually speak with their producers.
Yeah.
I always find that so fascinating because it's in that moment you're like, they're closer with their producers than they are with each other. They can't even talk to each other about this.
Yeah.
Like, how funny is that?
It's ridiculous, but that's the setup.
And the producers, it's their job to make sure of that, really. And anyway, so Maria comes back, immediately gives him this cutesy hug and says she overreacted. She thinks out loud a lot. She says things. It's not him she's running from. She likes him so much that she doesn't like seeing him with other women. Like, look, I understand that on a logical level. I just think in that case, it's more about like this process isn't working for me. But when it's really about him, to me, it doesn't make sense to just be like, I like you so much that I'm leaving.
I have to say, I don't love that tactic in relationships ever.
No.
What Maria did was she knew, in my opinion, I'm 90% sure, she knew what she was doing. She knew she was going to say she was going to leave and then she wasn't going to leave, in my opinion. And I don't like that because what that means is that sometimes in relationships, she might be the type of person who's like, I'm done with you. She breaks up. She walks out the door. You don't hear from her for 2 hours. Then she comes back. She's like, oh, I'm sorry. I don't like that stuff. That's bad news.
This showed a little bit of immaturity, in my opinion. Like, she's 29. This is something that I feel like I would have done at like 24 or 25. Like, I remember getting in a big fight with a boyfriend and like leaving then being upset with him for not following me.
Right. Well, it's a weak tactic.
Yeah.
It should be just discussion should be had.
Yes.
Not those actions are false actions.
Yes.
You should just have the discussion.
Yes. And then his response to her being like, okay, I overreacted. I love how he didn't just let her off the hook. He was like, I never want you to not be that side of yourself. What a beautiful thing to say. Yeah. Especially since if you consider his position, like, that's a real emotional roller coaster, you know? And he says he loves that side of her. It's who she is. But while she has fears, he has fears too. And if she felt the way he does, she would never just leave.
You know, it's interesting here. Anger was shown by Joey. If he didn't like Maria, or he knew he was not going to choose Maria, or he was like just kind of stringing her along.
Yeah.
That would be indifference. It would be annoyance, irritation. It would be boredom.
Okay.
All of those things, but it wouldn't be anger.
Yeah.
Anger is a sign that there's passion, there's love.
Yeah.
Because anger and love are very similar.
Yeah, and he was frustrated because she wasn't saying, I'm just not that into you.
Yeah.
She was saying, I'm into you too much. And he's like, so what's the problem? Like, you're on The Bachelor.
He was pissed off.
Yeah, he was. And seeing that side of him, like it brought out a color to Joey. And I said last week that we see a side of Joey that only comes out with Maria. It doesn't come out with anybody else.
Well,
once again, here.
I think there's more passion with Maria and more like stability, functionality with Daisy and Kelsey A.
Yeah.
I think that if he had to choose with passion, it's Maria. The other ones, it's like, I can see a future with you. This seems stable.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry.
Yeah.
Maria's a handful. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
She's going to be a handful.
Yeah.
And you're going to get a lot of good and you're going to get some bad.
Yeah. He says that she has to start believing that it can be her and he's not going to be with someone that can't see this and trust it. And she's like, I can see it. I can see it. And he's like, but this is what it is.
Yeah.
Like, you say you can see it. It's like, this is part of it. I thought his response was so good. Like I said, it was like a disciplining. He's like, no, this is the setting. And it was very attractive on him, honestly, because she needed this in this moment. And she responds. I mean, wow. When he laid down the law, she was like, oh.
Yeah.
She wanted to be told what was what.
She wanted a reaction. She wanted him. She wanted to get a rise out of him.
Yes.
And she got it.
She did.
She didn't get exactly the one she wanted, but she got one of the ones she wanted.
I think the one she wanted, I think would have given her too much power. Like, let's say he is like, oh, you're leaving. Okay, I'm quitting. He pulls a Colton with Cassie. Okay. And he's like, okay, this is it. I think that she would kind of lose interest. Like, I think that Maria likes a little bit of a song and dance, actually.
She didn't get what she wanted, but she got what she needed.
Oh, good. She says she's not going to kiss him. He has to learn his lesson. And he's like, what?
He's like,
and then she kisses him anyway. And he's like, you're all over the place, woman. I mean, what a throwback to night one.
Yeah.
When she's like, I'm not going to kiss you. I've seen you kissing other girls.
Yeah.
This probably works for her a lot in dating because she is so charming.
Yeah.
But I do feel like she's got to graduate to the next level soon. Personally, like in terms of like getting into a deeper relationship.
You know what Maria does? She negs.
Yes. Negging.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Should we tell people what that is? Everyone knows what negging is.
Everyone knows what negging is. It's a thing.
Okay, so this wraps, with her staying, obviously. But back with the group, Joey does not give out that group date rose.
No.
Yes.
He's angry. Pissed off.
Yeah, and I think that he was right not to give this out.
Yeah.
She didn't deserve it. He wasn't keeping Jen. I think it makes all the sense in the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was the best not giving out a rose I've ever seen.
Totally. It was a great call. Okay, so now Kelsey A's one-on-one. They shop for souvenirs around Jasper. They Lady and the Tramp a s'more together.
Yeah, it's cute.
The highlight for me was when Joey says, when was the last time you had hot cocoa? And she's like, yesterday. Kelsey A is me. I am Kelsey A. He gives her tips on playing pool. And there was a shot here where they're playing pool and she had a pint of beer and he was hugging her from behind and she was just sort of like goofily
cute.
Looking out and I just saw them. They looked like a couple.
I know.
I was like, that's it.
Yeah.
It's them. That was the moment.
There's 3 couples now. There's 3 couples.
Yeah. This is such a
I've
good
never
season.
seen that.
In all your recapping days. Isn't that
there's
incredible?
there's always just like, we know who it is. And maybe it's this one, maybe.
Yeah.
There's 3 couples.
Is this the kind of season where I feel like people who know spoilers?
They're pissed at themselves.
What do you mean?
They're pissed at themselves
No,
for finding
because I
out.
feel this is why I don't like spoilers, because they ruin how you watch the show. Like if we knew who wins, we would watch the show differently than if we don't.
100%.
But it's so funny to me when people are like, oh, it's so obvious, blah, 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 when they know the spoiler. It's like, okay.
You know what? You know where those people end up?
Where?
In hell.
They speak now with a local who tells them they have to do this thing, the polar plunge.
I gotta be honest with you, as far as polar challenges go, this is not a very extreme one. It felt like it was like a cool, like a chilly fall day.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not impressed with this polar plunge.
Okay, you needed snow to be on the ground.
You know what this was? This was a Bachelor polar plunge.
Oh.
A legitimate polar plunge is there's like ice floating in that lake. It's so cold that you need like a full winter coat to just stand around.
Well, so they did that on Sean Lowe's season. There was a polar plunge, and it stayed with me because it looked brutal.
It should be a nightmare. Like the fact that they could have a romantic kiss in the water. No, that's not a legitimate polar plunge.
You're not impressed. Yeah. Okay, so now it's the evening. Joey asks Kelsey over dinner what her hometown would look like. She tells him a bit about her dad and how her father really stepped up, I guess. She wasn't that close with him when she was little. She was more close with her mom. But when her mom passed away, her father really stepped up. He had 5 kids, and she's just really touched by how he's been there for them. And she's very emotional. Lots of crying here. To the point where I once again felt like this is week 7. I don't mean to downplay what she's talking about and how touching it is that her father stepped up and how she misses her mom and stuff. But to me, like the highs she felt on this date and then this scene where she's crying, it felt like she's discombobulated.
Yeah, well, everything's coming home now. Literally.
Yes. They talk doubts. She says it would be devastating if she made it to the end and found out that he had doubts, and he assures her he would never propose. If he had doubts, he gives her the rose. They make out against a tree. And we were really trying to decipher the kissing here, Andy. I'm not sure how I felt about this chemistry.
Yeah, jury's out on this one. I'm not sure.
Yeah, this was the episode where I was like, I see it more with Daisy, even though they were telling us how it's Kelsey A, in his ITMs, we hear him saying, we had this amazing conversation, blah, blah, blah. He said at one point that he could really see how much Kelsey A liked him. And I feel like that is something that is keeping this relationship really like at the front of the pack, because I like his dynamic with Daisy and even Maria more.
Yeah.
This feels a little too sedated to me.
It feels a little bit more like friends than lovers. Just a little tiny bit.
I think he's very attracted to Kelsey A. Actually, I forgot to tell you this. I watched a reel. Someone tagged me in a reel where Joey was being interviewed and he was told to give just one word to describe each of his 6 final women. And his word for Daisy was kind. His word he used 4 words for Maria, which was one of a kind.
And then hot.
Well, Kelsey A?
Yeah.
You think hot?
Yeah.
Well, he said beautiful.
Okay, whatever.
So that confirms something for you.
I mean, she's so pretty. It's almost she's too pretty. It's like going to a restaurant where the food is like, it's like a 3-star Michelin and you can't appreciate it. You're just like, I'm not good enough for this food. I don't even know what to do with this.
Oh, I was thinking more that you go to a restaurant that's so gorgeous, like the ambiance is so perfect that it makes you feel like you actually enjoy the cuisine more than maybe you do.
Wait, you're saying that Kelsey has a bad personality?
No. It's actually the opposite. I think Kelsey A is, I adore her. Like, I think she's so shockingly humble for someone as beautiful as she is. It's like she's one of those people who somehow doesn't know how beautiful she is. But I don't know. There's like a dynamic here where she's too like eager and just like there for him. And I prefer Joey in these dynamics where he's kind of kept on his toes and is sort of unsure, and like he's got like this edge that comes out. He's a real chameleon.
I think it comes down to this, because I've been having a hard time. Usually I feel like I have a pretty good read on this stuff.
Yeah.
I've been having a hard time with Kelsey A.
Yeah.
I think the difference between Kelsey A and Daisy, not saying Maria's not in the running, she still is there.
Yeah.
But between Kelsey A and Daisy, who I think are strong front runners, I think Daisy feels like family and Kelsey A doesn't.
Ooh.
That I think is the only difference to me.
Like family.
Like family. Like he feels at home with Daisy.
Yeah.
He doesn't quite feel at home with Kelsey.
Okay.
That's
like he's
to me the only difference.
He's like a little more in awe of Kelsey A.
Yeah, he almost feels like almost not worthy it's kind
he's
of
like, I can't believe this girl
awkward.
likes me.
Yeah, he's like, you know, in like fifth grade when you start going out to like school dances and all the boys are like 4'6" and the girls are like 5'3", and you're like, this is weird. That's the, you know, I mean, I remember that.
Yeah.
It was very scarring, to be honest.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was your point?
Joey's the kid at the dance. He's kind of like,
okay, and she's like
thumbs.
the popular pretty girl.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, Joey, do you want to dance? And he's like, okay.
Yeah, I'm not really sure with Kelsey A. I'm not sure where I am with her and Joey. It's hard to tell.
I feel like if Maria and Daisy were not there, it would be obvious that Kelsey A was it.
100%.
Like I said, he's such a chameleon with different women that I'm really like trying to fill in the blanks. And I just feel that we see more of him come to life with Daisy and with Maria because he's sort of kept on his toes more. He's a little less in control with them, which I think it evens out the playing field in a good way.
You know, I also think if I had to break it down mathematically, I think Kelsey A is, in Joey's eyes and most people's eyes, very beautiful. And she has a good personality.
Yeah.
The only difference is that the personality she has might not fit Joey perfectly. So he's like, I know objectively she's beautiful and has a very good personality. I'm just not sure that personality is for me. So I have to sacrifice that and go with what I feel connected with.
And it would be hard to give up a package like Kelsey.
Right. I think he's going to struggle.
In my dating days, when I dated a guy like that, who was like so handsome and had such a great personality, but I knew it wasn't quite right for me. It's like,
right. Why can't you be a little different?
Like, I don't want someone else to have you, but like, I know this isn't quite right.
I know.
Yeah.
That's what I think is happening.
Yeah. So Andy, in this Bachelor episode, Joey asked Kelsey A the last time she had hot cocoa, and she said yesterday. And I was like, that girl is me. And that is because I took Beam Dream Powder, which is hot cocoa at night that helps you sleep.
It's a delicious contradiction.
Yes. Because you'd think, oh, hot cocoa, that's not a wise choice at night.
It's naughty.
It's so naughty. Even though you would like to. I mean, I certainly like hot cocoa.
Yeah.
But what if that hot cocoa was a cleverly designed, science-backed blend to help you sleep with all natural ingredients like reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, and melatonin, and nano CBD.
And those ingredients you mentioned are scientifically targeted to address the 4 stages of sleep from onset to REM.
Night swimming deserves a quiet night.
That's me in the corner. That's me in the spotlight, losing my religion.
Oh, those are so good.
Oh, man, when they write good music.
And the numbers don't lie. In a clinical study, 93% of participants reported Dream helped them get better sleep.
So today, our Shandies get a special discount on Beam's Dream Powder.
They're science-backed, healthy hot cocoa for sleep with no added sugar.
Better sleep has never tasted better.
If you want to try Beam's best-selling Dream Powder for a limited time, get up to 40% off when you go to shopbeam.com/Shandy and use code Shandy at checkout.
That's shopbeam, BEAM.com/Shandy and use code Shandy for up to 40% off. One and done. Nutrition can be fun with AG1.
I like that one, Andy. Very succinct, gets to the point of what AG1 is all about. AG1, which by the way, has officially moved in to the Shandy abode, and we take it every single morning, and we have been taking it every single morning ever since the first day we tried it, which I think says it all.
I look forward to it. As a matter of fact, I feel empty. Unless I have taken my AG1.
You know, I'm going to be honest. There are mornings I don't want to take AG1, but I do because it makes me feel that much better. You know, some days you just want to like cut right to the bowl of cereal. But AG1, they do suggest you take it on an empty stomach so your body can best absorb the nutrients. I feel a difference when I take it, and that's why I never, ever miss a morning. To the point where when we were up in Canada for a week, I brought a full-size bag to have at my parents' place. Also, my mom had been asking about it so that we could also continue to take our AG1 every single day.
Yeah, we have not gone anywhere, and we've gone many places since we started using AG1. We've not gone anywhere without our travel packs.
Yes. Or even the full-size bags. I've even gotten it delivered to the places we would be, like in Seattle.
We're addicted to AG1.
So AG1, in case you have not heard of it, it has 75 vitamins, minerals, pre and probiotics, and whole food sourced ingredients, all these other super foodie things in there. It's everything you need for comprehensive daily nutrition. And let me tell you, it sure beats standing in the kitchen, taking one vitamin after another, trying to cover all your bases. AG1 has it all in one place.
And the fine people at AG1 have been working on this formula so hard. They've gone through 52 iterations to get to your mouth.
I trust the people who put all of their energy into one product and have 52 iterations and ongoing. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3, K2, plus 5 free travel packs with your first purchase at drinkag1.com/dearshandy.
That's drinkag1.com/dearshandy.
Okay, so now it's the rose ceremony cocktail party. Never mind. We hear footsteps. Jesse cancels this. I mean, this is par for the course. We've seen it a million times. And that brings us to our rose ceremony. At the top, we see Jen and Maria hold hands and whisper, "I love you" to each other. I thought this was very sweet.
Nice.
I love that they showed it. Tons of buildup, which leads to Joey asking if he can chat with Maria. He says he likes her. He didn't have doubts about her, but she almost left. And she says her insecurities got the best of her. She wants to prove to him that she's not running. And so at that rose ceremony, he gives roses to Rachel and Maria. So going home are Jen and Kelsey T. So Kelsey T in her departure doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
I think she was really upset. Like, I think Kelsey T was really into him.
Yeah.
And you could tell she doesn't feel this way very often. You know, some people will say it's like, I never feel this way. And you're like, okay, but maybe you do. Kelsey T, when she says she never feels this way about a guy, I believe it.
And you know, the producers in the car tried to prod her to get her to say something.
Yeah.
And she was just like, no.
Yeah. This only made me like her more.
I know. Oh, she's good.
I love Kelsey T.
Yeah, so do I.
And Jen, meanwhile, he doesn't even walk her out. To me, that was striking. And
Jen was the real surprise for me this season. I felt like that was going to go far.
I gotta say, I feel like I was duped. I think we fell for editing.
Yeah.
The fact that he didn't even walk Jen out.
Yeah. She wasn't special.
No, but we were sort of led to believe she was. They showed, I did say it like 2 weeks ago, that they're showing too much airtime with Jen. It was concerning me. Right. And apparently that was true. Like, we've seen bits and pieces of her relationship throughout, and it led us to believe that she's more of a front runner than she actually ever was.
They got us.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to hand it to them now.
No, to me too.
Yeah.
Even her level of upsetness. Like, she's very upset, but there's a vibe of like, yeah, I knew this was coming.
Yes, agreed.
Okay, so Andy, your A game. Who is your winner?
I got to give it to Daisy.
Okay.
Yeah, Daisy did everything right. Again, she said with confidence, I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
Which is such a strong move.
Yes.
Because they know what they have together.
Yeah.
It's not a mystery. And she knew that she was in a safe enough place and a confident enough place to say that. And all that did was strengthen their bond.
Absolutely. And it means that when she does say she is in love with him or whatever, I mean, I feel like it's coming. It's going to just mean more.
And she did what, psychologically speaking, you know, you always want what you can't have. I mean, that's just humanity.
Yeah.
But she did that in a more elegant way than Maria did it.
Yes.
They both had kind of the same objective.
Yeah.
One was more true, one was more manipulative.
Yeah.
But she got what she wanted cleaner, but she was just being honest.
Yes. And
Maria was being a little bit, you know, variety show style.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's true. And I feel a little harsh saying that Maria's tactic was a tactic or was manipulative, because I don't even think that she was aware of it.
No.
But having been on the other side of that, we've both been on the other side of that in relationships. And I think, I mean, in my case, I've certainly done some variation of this in relationships.
Everyone has.
Yes. I think that it is inherently manipulative whether or not you intend it to be.
Right. But it's not out of malice.
No.
It's out of, you're drowning
attention.
a little bit.
Yeah, you want to feel
You're
special.
in the ocean, you're swimming around, you're like, this is such a nice day. And suddenly the waves are a little bigger than you thought.
Yeah.
And you start swallowing water.
Yeah.
And you're suddenly like, okay,
Mayday,
I got to get
mayday.
to that lifeboat.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's it. You do things that are crazy.
Yeah.
Like drown. You usually drown. It's sad. Yeah.
It took a turn.
Yeah.
Okay, Andy, that brings us to our word watch. There were 0 husbands.
0.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked. There was at least one wife.
Yeah, there was some wife.
But no husband.
No.
And how many correct guesses were there?
Only 36.
Shocking.
Everyone thought there would be a husband.
Oh, everyone
Except
thought
36 people.
People thought there'd be one?
At least one. No, there was a lot. Some people thought there'd be like 15. I mean,
Really?
those people, sometimes I wonder what these people are guessing. It's a little crazy.
15 husbands?
I think some people are drank too much coffee when they do their word watch.
Okay, so this prize was 6 free meals to Factor. You guys have heard us talk about Factor a lot. They are our go-to. We have one in the fridge waiting for us.
Waiting for after the recording.
Yes, never.
Well, 2. We have 2.
2.
I'm not just going to share one with you.
Yes, never frozen, delicious meals that are ready to go. You just pop them in the oven and heat them up. We love them.
Always satisfying.
Always
I like satisfaction, I've decided. I don't necessarily need anything other than satisfaction.
Yeah.
I'm very special in that way.
Yeah, actually. Actually, this past week, Andy's been toying with being gluten-free.
Yeah.
He's been trying. Yeah. And it turns out that's been a struggle for you, is satisfaction.
Yeah, I've been having a lot of not satisfaction.
Yeah.
And Factor comes through.
It really does. So again, we have a deal for our Shandies. You can get 50% off if you go to factormeals.com/dearshandy50 and use code dearshandy50, Andy.
Factormeals.com/dearshandy50 and use code dearshandy50 for 50% off your order.
Yes. Who doesn't love a deal?
Crazy person.
Exactly. So our winner of 6 free meals to Factor is Michaela Kazak. Congratulations. Please email us by this Friday at midnight to claim your prize. And Andy, what is your word for next week?
Wife?
Okay. Wife. It's about time.
Yeah.
I think wife might come up. Although you shouldn't listen to me because I really never have any idea.
I'm going to make a prediction on Word Watch.
Okay.
5.
Okay. I'm going to go with 1.
Okay.
But really don't listen to us because we never have any idea.
Don't listen to us.
So if you would like to join in the Shandy Word Watch Fun, have a chance to win a prize, then you can guess the number of times you predict the word wife will be uttered in episode 8. That is hometown week. You must do so by using the numeral of the number of times. You must do so by commenting either below this YouTube video or over on the Instagram post for this recap. Do not email us. Do not DM us. And if you guess correctly, you will be entered in a draw and then one name will be plucked by Andy. And that person will win. We have a new prize this week. It's actually not a new prize. It's one of our oldest prizes, but it's a standby. It's a favorite.
It's an oldie but a goodie.
An oldie but a goodie. $100 to spend at one of my all-time favorite Etsy shops, Furano Studio. You guys know that this is my destination for a lot of my jewelry. In fact, my rings, necklaces, and earrings are all from Furano Studio currently. I get a lot of my stuff from there. $100 to spend in jewelry.
Not bad. Better than a sharp stick in the eye, as they say.
Yes. Okay, and let's move on to our predictions. Who do you have in your top spot, Andy?
Sticking with Daisy.
Okay, and you've brought me over to your side.
Nice.
That kiss, the hug, that grin, that little grin on his face after he hugged her in the hot tub, combined with not really feeling that same element on his date with Kelsey A.
Yeah.
Okay, so Daisy in number 1, my first time. I thought it was Kelsey A from the beginning.
There's a warm I told you so in the oven.
Okay.
Golden brown.
Who do you have in your second spot? Oh, you're debating. My goodness.
Oh, this is just a gut call. I'm gonna go. Maria.
Oh wow. Wow. Okay, so
hard.
why did that hurt so much?
It's such a fence call, and I don't like it. I don't like the call, and not that I don't like Maria.
Yeah.
I just feel it makes me feel uneasy. But I'm doing it.
Okay.
I'm doing it. Oh, I think that's a bad call.
No,
I'm sticking with it.
No, you should stick with it. I'm having a hard time myself. And it's funny because you would think that after this date, we would be like, oh yeah, Kelsey A, she's winning. Because I feel like they've been throwing a lot of wool over our eyes with like, oh, Daisy's not sure.
Wool.
Maria thought about leaving. It's Kelsey A. But actually, instead, I'm left thinking, I don't know if it's Kelsey A. It's too easy.
Too easy.
Yeah, it's never this easy.
No bumps. No bumps. Nothing.
Yeah.
Not even a pebble.
No.
It's like a Zamboni.
Zamboni. The thing is, I really like him with Maria.
Yeah.
Like, I like him with Maria a lot.
I think she would keep him on his toes.
Yeah, and we just see us like, you know what? He feels himself with her. The way he was like, frustrated. He's like, you discredit this, blah, blah, blah. The way he talked to her, I was like, there he is. There's a whole dimension to Joey that we don't see with anyone else. You know, it's suddenly there. It just makes me feel like he is truly himself with her.
Yeah.
God, do I have to do this? I'm really hurting. I'm hurting.
Come aboard. Come with me.
We cannot discount too the fact that, okay, there's two things to consider here. One is that the two people who get second one-on-ones are usually final two. Right? Like that's a pretty big date to get. So Daisy and Kelsey A should be final two. However, Maria had this interesting off the beaten path journey to get here, right? She goes on a 2-on-1, gets that rose, then gets the group date rose the next week, and then gets the following 1-on-1. She hasn't gone into a rose ceremony without a rose for 3 weeks in a row.
You know what Maria is? She's the MRSA of The Bachelor.
MRSA?
Yeah. Antibiotic resistant bacteria. Can't kill her.
Yeah, because what they have is that good.
She's strengthened. She's so strong.
Yeah.
From the trials and tribulations.
Yeah.
That she's unstoppable.
Okay.
Except for Daisy, which is, you know, that's the true penicillin. Although penicillin doesn't kill MRSA. But, you know, you get the point. I don't know.
Okay. I can't believe I'm doing it. I'm not doing what I wrote down. I'm going Maria in second too. And it's not because you said it, although you kind of opened the door. I was already struggling with this. Even the previews, they show Maria's father being kind of a hard ass, right? Even that. Everything all season has been telling us it's not Maria. Maria doesn't stand a chance. And I've been falling for it until last week, until that one-on-one date. I got to give it to you, Andy. Your top 4 predictions, the first episode, were bang on.
You know what? I just suddenly realized, despite all my dreams and desires, my whole life has been leading up to this moment.
Okay, so we both think Maria is second. We think Kelsey A is third. And we think going home next week is Rachel.
Correct.
Yes.
If Kelsey A goes next week, and I've seen this happen before. It even happened, I think, in Verzaki's season. But there's someone he has a real romantic connection with that's not quite there.
Yeah.
And rather than string her along,
he doesn't want to hurt her.
He wants to respect her and not hurt her more and keep who I think is the friend into the final 3.
Okay, meaning Rachel.
Rachel.
Yeah. We think it's more platonic with Rachel. Okay, wow, what a shocking prediction session, Andy. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I feel like you followed your gut.
Thank you. I've studied. I've gotten my 10,000 hours in a Bachelor. My great-grandfather worked and suffered in the fields under the Tsar in Russia to get to America to build a life.
Yeah.
And I got 10,000 hours of Bachelor under my belt.
I mean, is this not part of the American dream?
This is what it's all about. This is what, you know what? In the end, people say, oh, well, you know, this is not what your ancestors would have wanted for you.
Yeah.
This is exactly what they would have wanted. I think our ancestors would be thinking there's nothing they'd rather us be doing.
I don't know about mine. Mine would be more like doctor, lawyer. Certainly my Chinese side. Doctor, lawyer.
You think there'll ever come a day, like in like 100 years or 200 years from now, where like Chinese or Jewish parents will be like, doctor, lawyer, podcaster?
That's where we should definitely wrap this recap. If you enjoyed what you heard today, you know what we will ask of you, and that is to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow us on Instagram and
TikTok.
Leave us Apple and
Spotify. And let me just add that Spotify often gets buried in the headline.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, Spotify is also important. We don't don't talk enough about Spotify.
Are you asking for more? You don't be greedy, Andy.
Okay, you're right. We got enough. Thank you.
Ratings and reviews. Now. Tell your friends and generally do all the things you would do to support a podcast you enjoy. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Dear Shandy. Bye-bye.